Too many Ohioans don't even know that there's a special election or that the issue is so important.
We are just weeks from the special election. You've probably seen yard signs for and against issue 1. Coming up, we're breaking down what a yes or no vote means. Drag queens dragged into politics, the debate involving children and certain performances. And the roadways getting assistance from the state. Which neighborhoods will see updated streets? Face the State begins now. And we are just a little over 2 weeks away from the special August election, and thousands of Ohioans have already cast their ballots early. Thank you so much for joining us for Face the State on this Sunday. I'm Tracy Townsend. For the first time in years, the focus around the single issue on the ballot is proving to bring out more voters than most special elections. But exactly what is issue 1, and what would a yes or no vote mean? Lena Lyle from our sister station WKYC breaks it down.
It is a rare summertime special election with only one statewide issue on the ballot. Supporters of issue 1 say it's simple.
It's too easy to change the Constitution at 50% plus one. It should be difficult.
What would issue 1 do? It would raise the threshold for passing constitutional amendments in Ohio. Since 1912, it's been a simple majority, that is 50% plus one. Passage of issue 1 would require 60% of the vote.
Too many Ohioans don't even know that there's a special election or that the issue is so important.
It's why opponents of issue 1
would permanently remove our rights from the Ohio Constitution.
Have now launched a $1.1 million ad campaign for an issue that could have profound impacts on matters like abortion rights, legalizing recreational marijuana, and raising the minimum wage. So why the August special election? Republican Secretary of State Frank LaRose admitted last month, quote, "This is 100% about keeping a radical pro-abortion amendment out of our Constitution." Last week, abortion rights advocates turned in 710,000 signatures, nearly twice the requirement to put abortion rights on the November ballot.
And we're really concerned that if this passes, only well-financed groups will be able to bring ballot initiatives to the people and win.
Because currently, petitioners need to get enough signatures from 44 counties. Issue 1 would require them from all 88 Ohio counties.
Therefore, policy issues like abortion, marijuana, gambling, all these other things should be left to the state legislature to decide.
We have seen a steady stream of voters throughout the last 2 weeks. As of last week, nearly 10,000 people voted. And remember, there are changes as it relates to voting in the polls. The rules were first put in place during the May primary. Voters must have a state-issued photo ID. You can no longer have the option to use perhaps a bank statement or a bill as proof of your address. The change has been criticized for its impact on low-income Ohioans. Remember, the polls are open from 6:30 in the morning until 7:30 at night, and you are still permitted to vote as long as you are in line before the polls close at 7:30 in the evening. We're certainly going to follow this election and any potential problems at the polls. We'll do that on air and online and on our free 10 TV app. All right, now let's take a look at the Senate race. A new candidate is jumping into the fray, and he's a familiar face.
I know something has to change. Someone needs to step up and take on the fight.
Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose is now in his second term as Ohio's elections chief. Before that, he spent 8 years as a state senator and served as a U.S. Army Green Beret. Secretary LaRose is joining other Republican candidates hoping to unseat Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown. Right now, State Senator Matt Dolan and business owner Bernie Moreno are also running. New legislation would prohibit drag performances in our state where children may be. The bill also prohibits other adult performances, including exotic dancers and strippers. Here now is 10 TV News reporter Tara Jabor.
House Bill 245 looks to limit adult cabaret performances. That includes go-go dancers, strippers, and entertainers who exhibit an identity that was not assigned at birth.
It just prohibits obscene entertainment in the presence of a minor.
Representative Williams is a primary sponsor. He says it's about protecting minors.
There's a morality issue to it. We don't want to expose our minors to these type of sexualized performances at a very young age. We've seen time and time again there's been a push towards these type of performances getting more explicit in the presence of minors.
That's why he wants to limit those performances to bars and nightclubs. But LGBTQ advocates say the bill is an attempt to suppress their culture.
Absolutely how absurd and ridiculous this particular motion is. It's a form of entertainment, and that's been prevalent across our culture and society for thousands of years.
Eichler says some drag is not appropriate for children, but that type of drag is not at parades and parks. He says there is drag that's appropriate for children.
The artistic ability of it, the work that goes into it, the expression, not to mention the influence for those that look and say, hey, I'm different, and I feel like I might connect with that person.
Hunter Fallhaber is a current drag queen who goes by Soy Queen.
Drag entertainers and the LGBTQ plus community, we're not thinking about children. We don't have an agenda to go out and persuade kids or corrupt kids or make kids like us.
He calls the legislation disappointing and upsetting.
I'm not a criminal. I'm not targeting children. I don't have an agenda to corrupt anybody.
And that was Tara Jabor reporting for us. Now, if this piece of legislation passes, those who perform in front of children would face a misdemeanor charge. If the material is described as obscene, charges would become a felony. A Columbus-based organization that helps low-wage earning families get out of crime-ridden communities and into neighborhoods with green spaces, grocery stores, and good schools is getting a $1 million boost to expand opportunities to more families.
Our 3-year program gives people time to do what we all do. We make mistakes, we figure it out, we try again.
Move to Prosper is now getting a major boost in the state budget for 2024-2025, receiving $1 million in funding effective July 1st, payable as $500,000 in fiscal year 2024 and $500,000 in the following year, 2025. We first reported on the organization in 2021 with Bessie Jackson, a single working mother of 2.
I'm not looking for a handout at all. I just want a little help, a little guidance.
Participants get more than a little guidance. There is 3 years of rental support, assistance with new schools and new neighborhoods, and mandatory one-on-one coaching to help reach finance, health and wellness, career advice, and other goals.
Come down, please.
Move to Prosper also made a difference for Sherilyn Elkins, a single parent who says it improved her living conditions and her financial IQ.
Without this program, where do you think you'd be?
The scary part is I don't know.
Really changed the trajectory of a family's life.
We do, both the children and the parents.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. One of our other participants says it's not a 2-generation model.
Right.
Her mom learned from watching her in the program.
Mm-hmm.
And her children's children will be better off. And the cousins and the aunts and uncles, as they're watching her and her daughter go through the program, they're all learning.
Now, the line item for Move to Prosper in the budget has bipartisan support. Think about that. There is a research-proven template for the organization. They worked with The Ohio State University, and the team is already making plans for growth beyond the first 100 families already mapped out to join now and April 2025. So more to come on that. Columbus City leaders say a Greyhound terminal can remain open because there's nowhere else to go right now. It's the only operation here in Columbus. The city attorney says the city was blindsided and didn't know all of the things happening there were going on to serve at that Greyhound terminal, or that it was even running until last week. 10 TV News reporter Ashley Bornanson filed this report earlier.
We are not the issue. Greyhound is the issue. Safety is the issue. Home values are the issue. Parking is an issue. All of that is an issue right now.
Issues Molly Moody, a local business owner in West Columbus, says is all the neighborhood has had since the new Greyhound terminal started operating June 28th. But the main concern?
We were not aware, the businesses were not aware.
Tony Celebrezzi, the deputy director, says the city was also blindsided.
Did the city know at the time it was going to be a Greyhound facility as well, or you were unaware of that?
It was not portrayed to us. It was just as a bus terminal.
However, because it's zoned as a C4 commercial, it was not the city's responsibility to notify residents.
The way the code's written, if you're doing an activity on a parcel that's zoned correctly and you don't need variances, there's not necessarily interaction with the neighborhood or the area commission.
Celebrezzi says the city is encouraging the terminal to leave, but
at this point, the city doesn't have another bus terminal like this, and if we shut it down, which we do have the authority to do, the challenge becomes where do those buses start dropping off people, and are they dropping off people in unsafe locations?
In the meantime, they're pressing owners for improvements to the site. Celebrezzi says they've increased securities, cameras, and bathroom facilities with an outdoor weather-controlled trailer and nicer porta potties.
And by the end of this week, we are expecting to see a new site plan and a new building plan. The site plan will help us understand how many people he's expecting, how the traffic, both pick up and drop off, and then the bus traffic, how it's going to move around the site in a safe manner.
Regardless, Moody says
it needs to be moved. It needs to be to a larger location. What are they going to do in the winter? What's going to happen in the cold weather?
And when do you want this to happen?
Immediately.
Paving the way. Still ahead on Face the State, the roads getting new funding in Central Ohio, and a new effort to hang up on robocalls. We'll tell you how that works. Ohio roads will soon get millions of dollars in improvements over the next few years, including State Route 161, that corridor near New Albany. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine announced the investments to Central Ohio roads, and it could mean years of work to invest in them. Gabriela Garcia explains what this means for you, the driver.
We've got 48 companies moving from the West Coast to our state, so Ohioans can expect a lot more orange barrels on the road in the next few years. $90 million worth.
Governor Mike DeWine says $66 million of that money will go to local road improvements.
This money will go towards reconstructing roadways, improving the safety and efficiency of intersections, widening roads to handle increased traffic.
That work is planned for now through 2028 in areas across Licking County, like the intersections between State Route 37 and U.S. Route 62 and Mink Street and Duncan Plains Road.
Today's investment is just the latest in a long list of investments that we and our partners in the private sector have made and are continuing to make.
But what about the remaining $24 million? That's going toward ODOT projects in Licking County, including the already planned 161 expansion that's really kicking into high gear this summer. Even railroads are being looked at here. $750,000 is going toward adding more tracks to the Newark Yard and reduce block rail crossings on local roads.
Transportation should never be a roadblock to Ohio's success. And in fact, transportation is an essential part of our success and our future.
For 10 TV News, I'm Gabriela Garcia.
Also, with a population boom on the roads, housing is a hot topic in Central Ohio. No matter where you're looking to live, the competition is intense and the inventory is tight. That's for homeowners and renters alike. There's a new plan in Marysville to add nearly 300 rental homes. It's causing quite a divide. 10 TV's Lindsay Mills also found a proposed law taking aim at corporations buying up thousands of homes for profit.
Marysville residents have had meetings in recent weeks to express their concerns. They say this new plan for nearly 300 homes to be rented out puts strain on an already tight and competitive market.
A proposal to rezone roughly 100 acres off Weaver Road on the south side of the city of Marysville to a planned unit development would give way to a plan from a developer to build single-family homes to be rented out.
We want to welcome more people here in Marysville. We love the feel of it. Just let's have some responsible growth and do things and be thoughtful about it.
Residents like Barb Phillips say they're concerned the rental price would be unaffordable, and she has concerns about the corporation working with the developer. I spoke with City Manager Terry Emery, who says there is a need for rental homes in Marysville. He says rent would run $2,500 a month or more.
There's some concerns, and some of the concerns are valid. I think there needs to be strong consideration, though, in increasing the diversity of the type of homes that are available to people in the Marysville market. One example is some of our corporations, whether it's Honda or Scott's or others, may have individuals that are interested in coming in to work for like 2 to 3 year periods of time.
According to Emory, American Homes for Rent would work with the developer on this plan. State Senator Bill Blessing says companies are scooping up thousands of homes statewide, and it's driving up home prices, and it creates more competition for home buyers. He proposed legislation this spring to crack down by taxing $1,500 per month per property for those who own more than 50 properties in a given county.
What happens is that rather than pass that on, it destroys the business model and they are forced to sell.
American Homes for Rent did not respond to our request for an interview.
The Marysville Planning Commission unanimously approved this plan earlier this month. It now goes to Marysville City Council. In Uptown Marysville, Lindsay Mills, 10 TV News.
Ohio is joining a nationwide initiative to expand the crackdown on illegal robocalls. Attorney General Dave Yost introduced a joint state and federal initiative called Operation Stop Scam Calls. This operation targets not only telemarketers and their companies, but also the lead generators who collect your information and give the robocallers your phone number. It also focuses on service providers that facilitate the calls. If you get a robocall, we have a link at 10tv.com/featured links where you can report it. Looking ahead, school starts in a little over a month, and this year the Columbus City Schools District will be investing in student mental health. CCS recently received a grant for $1.7 million. Tara Jabor is back now with more from the district on how they are going to spend that money.
We currently have about 20 restorative practice trained trainers in our district, and we are looking to make sure that we have more than one in every single school building as we go forward.
$1.7 million towards restorative practice. That's what the Columbus City School District is doing with its recent grant from the state of Ohio. McNally says restorative practice is about training teachers and staff to interact with students better who are going through a hard time.
We know that so many of our students are coming to us with increased stress levels, increased anxiety, increased disruptions in behavioral regulation, especially after the pandemic.
She says they want teachers to train students on how to deal with those difficult emotions.
It's really about how are we interacting and creating those relationships with our learners and helping to build their skill sets and their ability to regulate their stress levels, to handle feelings of being overwhelmed, to handle feelings of frustration in a really productive way.
She says those things like anxiety and stress take kids out of the classroom mentally and sometimes physically.
We want them to have a better ability to handle stress and frustration and anxiety as it comes up.
The district is also using the money to expand its attendance team.
Going to different community events and raising our awareness and education around attendance, which is critical. We know that just missing 2 days a month, just missing 2 days a month of school can cause your kid to be chronically absent.
Pollard says their goal is to encourage kids to stay in the classroom.
In order for them to kind of reach the students, to kind of hit the goals we're looking to hit, whether that's academically, social, emotionally, or mentally, we need to have students at school present every day.
And as tuition rises, wages not keeping up. 3 areas that are driving up those costs. Central Ohioans say they are having an unusually hard time getting their unemployment money. We're looking into what's being done to help them. Welcome back to Face the State. Central Ohioans say they are having an unusually hard time getting their unemployment money, putting a strain on their pocketbooks and their lives. 10 TV's Ashley Bornanson spoke with one resident who wants answers on when people can see their money.
Like many in the tech industry, Reynoldsburg resident Ryan Evans tells me he was laid off. But that's not the only thing he's concerned about. It's the halt in unemployment money and the lack of response from the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services that has him concerned.
Got quite a few interviews, but just a lot of competition right now.
Ryan Evans says he was laid off from a software development job in May.
So I'm kind of the person that decides, what the software is supposed to do and work with software developers and testers.
His main stressor, not getting through to the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services for his unemployment money.
It's stressful enough trying to find a job. If I have to now like go through all these hoops just to like maybe get a hold of someone to file a claim, like I don't have that kind of time.
Evans says he hasn't received unemployment money for 3 weeks.
But they need to be available then. And they said this has been going on for weeks. So the fact that like I said, in my opinion, there's something clearly something's going wrong there.
That something wrong is caused by scammers. In a statement, a spokesperson says the agency is, quote, seeing unusually long wait times with an increased number of attempts to fraudulently access its unemployment system. The spokesperson says they have identified and addressed the issues and notified impacted individuals, resulting in the high call volume.
Obviously there's plenty of people who, live paycheck to paycheck. So for them not to be able to file for weeks, but eventually, everyone, going to feel that pressure.
And Evans tells me though he was able to reach a representative in the last few days, he still worries if that unemployment money will ever come. Reporting in Columbus, I'm Ashley Bornanson for 10 TV News.
Continued concern as more colleges push to increase tuition. As a tuition increase at The Ohio State University is set to take effect this fall, incoming freshmen from our state will have to pay 3% more, a $374 change in price. Now, students who don't live in Ohio will pay 5.2% more than a $1,200 price increase. New evidence now shows tuition isn't the only thing rising. Average wages not keeping up, and that's according to a recent study from Georgetown University. Gloria Pazmino explains what's causing the sharp increases.
Cal State University students are stressing out about a proposed increase in tuition.
It means I rarely can afford food and gas. I don't get financial aid.
It's part of a nationwide trend between 1980 and 2020. The average price of tuition, fees, room and board for an undergraduate degree increased by 169%. That's according to a report from the Georgetown University Center on Education and the Workforce. That rise far outpaces wage increases in the same time period.
It's really a problem that incomes are not rising more rapidly, not only because of college, but because of all of the other things that families and households need to buy.
So what's driving up the cost? Experts point to some key factors: increasing faculty salaries, increasing competition at top schools, and decreasing state funding.
So it's a perfect storm for families where the tuition has been growing, grant aid has been lowering, and they are being asked to make up the difference.
For anyone aiming to pursue higher education, Michelle Shepard with the Institute for College Access and Success suggests always looking at federal aid and scholarship programs first.
And then if you do need to turn to loans, which most students likely will, start with the federal student loan program and maximize the federal loan before you go outside of the program.
And to give you some perspective on this, last year the average American saved about $5,000. That means it would take about 75 years to raise enough cash to send one child to a top-rated college. Certainly more to talk about there, and we will do that right here on Face the State. In the meantime, thank you for joining us today, and have a great week.